All right, item 7.
Item 7, proclamation recognizing June 17th through the 23rd as Juneteenth week 2018. Stan Vanderwerf, Commissioner, Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you very much. And I'll tell you what a great segue into this, because now we're going to celebrate the freedom of all people in our country. And I'm thrilled and honored to read this proclamation. For those of you that are here for this, please feel free to remain seated at the moment. And as soon as we second this nomination, then come forward. And I would encourage any and all in the audience to speak. And I would be thrilled if we had some of our young folks say a word or two before we vote on this. So at this point, I would like to entertain a motion for the proclamation recognizing June 17 to 23 as Juneteenth Week 2018. Whereas Juneteenth commemorates the June 19, 1865 landing of Union soldiers at Galveston, Texas, on a mission to end slavery and force compliance with the Emancipation Proclamation that had been signed some 2.5 years earlier on January 1, 1863. And whereas the Civil War, which raged for 4 years from April 1861 to April 1865, officially ended with the Confederacy surrendering to the Union on April 9, 1865, but both fighting and slavery continued in several states after that official surrender. And whereas during the years immediately following their emancipation, the newly freed men and women established a tradition of picnics, music, and Thanksgiving, and used the occasion to reflect upon the profound impact of having the freedom to choose life's direction and create community in which all freed men and women might live in safety and dignity. And whereas Juneteenth is one of the oldest known celebrations marking the end of slavery in the United States and is now officially celebrated in 45 states, it is a celebration of Black freedom and freedom for all, and encourages respect for all cultures, while ensuring that the reason of the June 19, 1865 celebration is not forgotten. And whereas Juneteenth has been a positive force in our nation and in El Paso County since Juneteenth's foundation in 1865, it is important that we continue to work on long-standing relationships in the Pikes Peak region to foster cultural respect and inclusion among all community leaders and citizens. And whereas the unity that represents the spirit of Juneteenth brightens the future for all of us throughout El Paso County and our great nation. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, hereby proclaims the week of June 17 to June 23, 2018, as Juneteenth week in El Paso County, and urges all residents, regardless of race or ethnic background, to commemorate and celebrate this historic milestone in American history. Done this 14th day of June 2018 at Colorado Springs, Colorado, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, signed Daryl Glenn, President, Mark Waller, President Pro Tem, Stan Vanderwerf, Lajinos Gonzalez Jr., and Peggy Littleton, members, and attested to by Chuck Browerman, County Clerk and Recorder.
Second.
Wonderful. It is time for you to come down and make a few statements about this proclamation before we vote. Do we have some of our young folks coming? Come on. Come on down. You don't have to speak. You can still come down and not speak, so come on down.
Now wait for everybody to come down.
And Mr. Allen, before you speak, I just want to say thank you to this gentleman over here because it's Flag Day and he's got a flag on his shirt, so awesome.
That is Mr. Crutcher. He is in charge of the youth, where he works with our youth within the organization, and he will bring to you information about the Juneteenth program that's going on this weekend.
Mic check. 1, 2. Let's give them a good morning. G-O-O-E-M-O-R-N-I-N-G. Good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. Good morning. My name is Nicholas Crutcher, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here today. These are our youth, El Paso County, specifically Colorado Springs, and we stand today to thank you for this proclamation. Juneteenth, which started at June 19th, 1865, is more than just an African-American holiday. It is the day that emancipation truly happened. When the soldiers marched down there in Galveston, Texas, the United States Army freed all citizens. And on this week, we are here to stand and say thank you. I stand with the movement, and we are here for many purposes. Juneteenth, although that it does acknowledge that slavery's ended, we ask the question, how are the children? We come here to make sure that all of the children are on reading level. We want to make sure that gangs are not the answer to our children nowadays. And we stand with the elders to make sure that the gaps are closed, because it takes unity in order for this country to be great again. So we thank you once again for this proclamation. Juneteenth will be a celebration here once again in Colorado Springs that will carry on the tradition of Mr. Tucker and many organizations, such as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which was spearheaded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself, and which is currently ran by his children. I would like to thank once again Youth Success Movement for making sure that our children are getting and striving to a great level. And we strive here on this week of freedom that our school districts will be #1 in the nation. And to show that Juneteenth, that we all are free, which means we have the liberty, the pursuit of freedom and happiness forevermore. Everybody's welcome once again. This weekend, Juneteenth will be celebrated at Hillside Community Center. We're looking for the synergy to be created starting at 11 o'clock. We will end at 5 o'clock with an old school versus new school basketball game. So once again, all are free. You guys are all welcome to come, because once again, it was the United States of America that made sure that all Americans will be free now and forevermore. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President and County Commissioners, Juneteenth proclamation that you signed today, I would ask that we go farther with that as we begin our work to be inclusive. Dr. King said back in 1957 in his writing of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, he described the purpose and goal of the organization as follows. The ultimate aim of the SCLC is to foster and create the beloved community in America where brotherhood is a reality. The SCLC will always work to integrate all of our citizens. Our ultimate goal is to genuine intergroup and interpersonal living integrated in our country. In his last book, he declared our loyalty must be transcended our race, our tribe, our class, and of our nation. In saying that, I go back to the founder of El Paso County in Colorado Springs, General Palmer. I believe if General Palmer and Martin Luther King would have lived together, they would have been great friends because they had the same vision for our community. Dr. King just went across the nation, but as we go back and look at our founder, General Palmer, when he lived here, Colorado itself had a real dark relationship with the Klan. It's written in history that the Klan was prevalent across the state, even in counties and in state government. But it never took a hold in El Paso County in Colorado Springs until after the death of General Palmer. It is written in history. General Palmer was so appalled about the treatment of people of color and that he went to war, even though he was a Quaker and despised violence as Dr. King did. He decided to go to war so blacks could be free. While in war, he decided that the African American or freemen should have an education. Today it is marked in Hampton, Virginia, in Hampton University, the Hall of General Palmer, Palmer Hall, because General Palmer, like himself and Union Army sergeants and NCOs, created an educational piece for the black man. El Paso County, you have a history of freedom. You have a freedom of inclusive. You have a freedom of guiding the rest of this nation toward being colorblind. You have that. This proclamation should not just be stopped here. This should be a part of El Paso County American history. Your young people demand that. Have the courage to, when we leave this meeting today, to think about the future of this community with all inclusive. Be bold. Go beyond the comfort zone. Think outside of your block. I like to thank my friend Commissioner Gonzalez, my friend Commissioner Vanderwerf, my friend County Clerk Chuck. Those are the folks that came to this organization when it was formed, laid their money and laid their support there because to assist with the vision of Dr. King. This country is at a turning point, and this community has the resources, the heart, and the potential to show the rest of the world what we can live by when we are colorblind. So again, I challenge you. I thank you for this proclamation. I hope this is just the beginning of great things that we can do in our great, beloved community. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bob Knoll. I know most of you, and I know your age. So when you come out tomorrow, make sure you wear the right tag for the old basketball team or the young. I really would like to thank you. You have such key words, this proclamation, and it deals with all. There are people who have asked me, what's this Emancipation Proclamation in this community? But what Henry Allen just said is so true. Thank God for the progress we have made in this county. Some of the thanks go to you all because I do know you. All people. I love our motto, how are the youth? We're all young at heart, I believe that. So it's not just physical age. So I ask you all to keep it up. You mentioned that 45 states celebrate, but guess what? Texas plus 13 other states, it's an official holiday every year. So we're probably gonna push that. We might come to you all to help. Go to our state elected officials, and whoever becomes governor out of the 45 candidates and approach them. So again, I thank you, but I have a question for each of you. Tomorrow, when you get up, what are you gonna do to further progress this county with regards to the theory and concept of Juneteenth? Think about it when you get up. I might call a couple of you, ask you, did you? So thank you and thank God, and God bless you.
Good morning. I'm Rachel Stovall, and I'm a community advocate. I've been one for a long time. I grew up here in El Paso County. I grew up here in El Paso County when we were not as far ahead as we are now in matters of equality. And I have vivid and occasionally traumatic memories of that childhood. In 2018, it's such a pleasure to realize that we are making so much progress. Thank you so much for helping to revive people's memories about Juneteenth here locally and encouraging our populace to celebrate the holiday as it is an opportunity to respect all cultures and to further ourselves in these matters. The eyes of the nation are often on El Paso County, And I think that even more than a proclamation, this is an opportunity for this county to show that progress can be made, and it is not about political leaning. Progress can be made, and it's something that all of us can have. And so I just thank you again for supporting this proclamation, supporting El Paso County, supporting all communities of color in it. And just thank you for that work, because I used to live in Alabama when I went to college, and the difference is extremely, extremely clear between where Colorado is at and where we can lead others to as a community if we will work together and continue to support one another. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any of the young folks want to say a word or two? You don't have to if you don't want to. It's okay.
All right. I'll bring it back up here. Any further comments before we vote on this? Commissioner Littleton.
Well, thanks. And gosh, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, I had the opportunity to do the very first Juneteenth Proclamation here in El Paso County, and I'm glad that it's going to continue and be part of our annual celebration that we have here in El Paso County. It's exciting because, as you gave the historical facts, Henry, about El Paso County and General Palmer, truly, I think El Paso, I don't think there is another board of county commissioners that is as diverse as this board right here in the state of Colorado. So we carry that tradition here. We carry that proud tradition that we are the melting pot. I mean, we are the poster child for, I think, the melting pot and how cultures come together, people come together, and we all become Americans together and celebrate one another here in El Paso County. So thanks so much for being here today. Thank you for carrying this resolution, Commissioner Vanderwerth.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, one, I wanted to thank Rachel, because if you've seen any of the online, she's been a driving force of getting this event, restarted. And I'd attended a couple before. It used to be events over at the America the Beautiful Park. I think the last one was 2015 that I recall. And so Rachel was a driving force on getting this restarted. So I appreciate that hard work. And then Henry, all the work you're doing here locally to represent and help get the word out of those people that need help and support. You're doing a great job, and the whole team and staff. And we have people working with the next generation. It just makes me proud to be able to see that. And I just thank you all for that, what you're doing. So thank you.
That's it. Commissioner Waller.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd also like to extend my thanks for y'all being here today as well. Henry, I was thinking you had the unenviable task of following that last performance, but I got to tell you, you deliver in your very own way, and you do it very well. And so I appreciate that very much. Rachel, I don't know how you said it, and I wish I could remember, but I think you just said it as progress doesn't have to be political, or something to that effect. And I appreciate so much your recognition that, it doesn't. This shouldn't be some sort of ideological issue that we draw lines up over. And I think that it's healthy for our community, healthy for us as a nation to understand that it doesn't have to be that way. And I've appreciated when we've reached out to you from those perspectives about the inclusiveness that's included there as well. And I think that that's healthy for our community as well, and it's healthy for our growth as a nation. So I appreciate that tremendously.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd also like to express my gratitude and thanks to everybody that is here, and some of you who are now good friends of mine. I am a huge fan of SCLC. I believe deeply in the tenets of Dr. Martin Luther King, which has several key things in it. One, which is to continue to fight for the freedom of everybody, and second, to do it in a nonviolent way, to stand firm for the rights of every person anywhere, but not to do it at the expense of killing other people to generate that. Because sooner or later, the right answer will come when we stand firm and fight for what we believe in. And I think it's great that you brought some young folks here, because we're doing our duty on this board to ensure that every person is free, but we won't be here forever. And then for the young folks, it'll be your turn to do this job. And I know that you're here, right? So you're listening to this, and you're going to do that job down the road. And that fight will continue on. Everyone has a God-given right to their life and to freedom, and we need to exercise it and enjoy it and do great things in our lives with that. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you so much for your introduction and bringing these young people here. It's a fantastic opportunity. Good luck with this event. Okay, I will call a roll, then we were going to stand in recess. And we're going to do two things when we're on recess. We're going to take a picture here, and then we're going to have to head outside, and we'll do the other picture with the
Crash car.
crash
Derby
car,
car.
derby car.
The derby
Okay.
car.
All right. That said, I will call the roll. Commissioner Littleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Waller.
Aye.
President votes aye. That passes unanimously. We will stand in recess.